The scenario is y'all kitty cat disappeared for 2 months. So how y'all keeping y'all man around?
Well, I'm gonna give me a real nigga that don't care about no sex like that. Me and my love is enough. So I mean, yeah,
persistent,
yeah,
aggressive love.
My friends, welcome back to the MDmedic Podcast. Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to translate Womanese, how to understand the real meaning behind the things that women say. Let's go. Alright guys, we're going to get right into it, but before we do, let's take care of some business. I need you guys to like this video on YouTube and go ahead and subscribe. Help boost us up in the algorithm so that we can help more men escape the matrix. Help more men get rich, get ripped, get fit, get the women they want, get the lives that they want. Let's do it. Also, give us a follow at MDmedic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, all of it. We're available on all platforms. You can listen to the audio version of the podcast only on Spotify and on Google Podcasts. Let's go. All right, so today we're going to talk to you about how to translate Womanese. So what is Womanese? Girls, when they don't want to accept responsibility for their lack of accountability, they use ambiguous, pejorative, or philosophical sounding statements in order to shift blame or to dance around their inability to be personally accountable. Kevin Samuels described this as sign language. Sign language, S.I.G.N, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Women use these tactics when they don't want to be accountable, or when they know that they are wrong, when they know that they have a personal inadequacy or a personal flaw that they're in a position to have to deal with, that you are questioning them about, that you're holding them accountable for, and they don't want to confront it. They will use sign language, shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right in order to counteract and combat you. We need to understand Womanese. You need to understand the true meaning behind the things that women say so that you can successfully navigate the dating marketplace. Listen, this show is all about trying to make you guys into high-value men. This show is all about trying to give you guys the life that you want so that you can get the women that you want and the respect that you want. But I'm telling you, if you do not understand the real meaning behind what women are saying to you, you're going to be taking an L in a lot of different ways. Because you're going to end up feeling bad about yourself, losing confidence, thinking that something is wrong with you, when in reality, a lot of it is an attempt to shift blame. So, I'm going to show you guys a little clip about Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, the GOAT, the godfather of the Red Pill movement himself. I'm going to give you a little clip about him describing sign language so that you guys can understand the context of how women speak and what they actually mean before we give specific examples of Womanese. Let's go.
Shaming tactics. Shame, shame, shame. Shame is one of the 4 major arrows of a low-value woman. It's part of a low-value woman's pathology. You cross the board. I don't care what you have on paper. When women operate in these areas, they diminish their value to low. Because if you really have a good argument, you should not have to shame somebody. Shaming is just a way to get control of the conversation. Shame is different than insults. Shame is used to turn a positive into a negative. Shaming tactics. Success shaming. Oh, well, you think you better than everybody because now you lost weight or because you got some money. Shaming tactics meant to keep you stuck. People who can't win the argument tend to use shaming tactics. Another sign of a low value woman is she often insults. To speak or treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. You gay. You got a little pee-pee. You ugly. You this, you that. Insults. Oh my goodness. Think how often you will hear someone when they're losing an argument or can't stand on the merits of the argument, they want to come out with an insult. In debate, it's called an ad hominem, against the man. The first person to get off the topic and start making personal insults is the one that loses. Insult. Low value women playbook, pathology, shame, shaming tactics, insults. And the insults can be your height, your weight, your money, where you look. Insults, they are more ready to give an insult than a compliment. Matter of fact, not only do they insult, they take pride in their insults. And if you can't take their insults, they shame you. Oh, look at you. You too weak. Again, shaming tactics. You're supposed to be able to handle their insults. And see, low value women feel like people should be able to handle them. That's not working. No one wants to handle a woman. S and the I. Next thing, let's go with the G. The G is guilt. Guilt. Making someone feel guilty, especially in order to induce them to do something. Guilt, a manipulation. Your mama black is not only a shaming tactic, it's a guilting tactic. It's made to move you under control. See, these things are somewhat passive and somewhat aggressive. Shame, insults, and guilt are ways to manipulate, control, exert power. And it's not done in a physical way, it's done in an emotional way. And last, the last sign that a woman may be low value is this one. The incessant need to be right. I have video after video after video after video after video of me having conversations with women here who will argue you into the ground. If you've ever dealt with somebody who absolutely needs to be right, the need to be right can be rooted in different things. But firstly, the need to be right is often a mask for insecurity. The person is concerned how others perceive them, and if they're wrong or they felt like they're not meeting whatever expectations, they will force themselves to be right. People who need to be right tend to be masking insecurity.
All right, so the Godfather explained sign language in a way that only he can. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace, Godfather. Okay, now that you understand what sign language is, we're going to give you some specific examples of womanese that women constantly use. I want you to know what they mean so that when they use them on you, you can catch them. You can be like, hey, you're not going to get me. I gotcha. All right, very first example of womanese that you constantly hear being used. I am a exert star sign, so I can't help that I'm like that. Translation. Here's what it really means in womanese. Instead of accepting the fact that I have an inherent character flaw, I would rather ascribe to a mystical belief that star signs set my personality, which takes away from any personal responsibility for my bad behavior. How many times have you heard chicks being annoying cussing, talking back, not listening, not being personally responsible, forgetting things, just being sloppy. And they say, oh, I can't help it because I'm an Aries. Oh, I can't help that I talk back because I am a Leo. I can't help that I'm super disrespectful and I don't listen because I'm a Virgo. How many times do you hear that being used? What that really means is, hey, I don't really want to accept responsibility, so I'm just going to say that some random star sign in the sky chose exactly how I am. I don't have any control of my personal responsibility. I can do whatever I want and not have anyone hold me accountable. And yeah, I want you to just accept that. I want you to let me off of my bad behavior because I have no control of it. That right there is false. That is womanese classically. You know what's funny? Guys can't use any of this star sign BS as an excuse for any of our inadequacies. We can't use this to justify any of our bad behavior. How would it go over if, I'm a woman beater? Whenever I get into a fight with my girlfriends, I just knock them out, punch them right in the face, straight Batista bomb them straight through the table, hit them with the sweet chin music like Shawn Michaels. How well would it work if I said, you know what? I can't help that I hit women. I'm just a Leo. Or, you know what? If I was fat, I was broke, I was a loser, I sat at home playing video games, eating Cheetos all day, did absolutely nothing with my life, and a woman doesn't want me, a woman doesn't like me, she's not attracted to me, should I just be able to say, you know what? I can't help it. I'm a Sagittarius. I can't help that I'm a loser. Accept me. Or, if, let's just say I wanted to go out, produce a bunch of different children by a bunch of different women and not take care of any of them, be a complete deadbeat dad, not pay child support, not do anything that I need to do right. And then when women confront me about it, should I just be able to say, you know what? I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, queen. I can't take it. I can't take any of this responsibility. I can't help it. No, I won't be able to do that. So when any time a woman ever tells you, you know what? I can't stop doing insert bad behavior because I am a true star sign.
Are you stupid or something?
That should be how you feel. This is womanese at its finest. You should understand exactly what it means and treat her as such. Another common womanese statement that you hear women using all the time is this idea of body positivity. Embrace your curves. You're beautiful, queen, even though you weigh 972 pounds. Guys, what this really means, what this translates to English from womanese is, I don't want to be held responsible for my weight and physical attractiveness, so I would just rather perpetuate a narrative that shames men for having any kind of beauty preferences and encourages lazy, unhealthy women that what they're doing is okay because it means they won't have to do any work.
Really, nigga?
Women are naturally wired to want a strong and capable man. And it's so funny that it's okay when they have a preference for a guy who is stronger than them, who's taller than them, who, makes all this money, who is this level of successful. Because remember, attraction for women to men is multifactorial, right? A woman is primarily attractive to a man initially based on how she looks. We're pretty simple. Our attraction triggers are pretty universal and pretty simple. But a woman's is multifactorial, right? So a guy is attractive if he's this tall, this strong, makes this much money, has this much status, is seen in such way by his peers, has this much game, has a level of confidence and charisma when he attracts or when he talks to a woman. That's what's seen as attractive in a man. And all of these things add up to make a man attractive. And it's so funny that whenever women say that they want any of these preferences, if a man falls short and doesn't have them, he's called, broke, busted, deadbeat, dusty. But if I were to say, but body positivity, short guys need body positivity, broke guys, body positivity, fat guys, body positivity. It's funny how that doesn't work.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least 6'2".
At least 6'2".
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So 6'2".
5'5".
6'2" bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes.
This is the best clip of the day, I think, on delusional young women rating men versus women. I want you to look at the images and I want you to see how these young women rate men versus women. Deli, let's pull up number 9 and watch this. This is incredible.
rate pictures of people out of 10. Alright, so there's this guy first.
Oh my god. Negative 1 million.
Okay, what about this girl?
She's a 10. She's pretty. She's a 10 out of 10.
Alright, what about this guy?
I think he's a 5.
Alright, what about this girl?
She's a 7. She's a 7.
What about this girl?
She's a 5. He's a 3.
Wait, so this guy's a 3, but this girl is a 10?
Yes, she's literally gorgeous. What do you mean? She's majestic.
But she's obese, though. Well, she is.
She is.
I know you're not talking looking like a whole Humpty Dumpty.
Do you think I'm fat?
Yes, you look like it.
Oh, baby. Where's
I
that
feel
fat?
like put them
Where's that
away.
fat at? I'm not body shaming. Isn't it a fact that she's obese?
She's not obese. She's gorgeous. What do you mean? She's literally more gorgeous than you.
But isn't it a fact that she's obese, though?
Yeah, but she's gorgeous. Okay, it doesn't matter if she's over, like, big. She's literally gorgeous. Why are you, like, pointing out the fact that she's fat? Literally, no one cares. I don't care. She's literally gorgeous.
Because isn't fat unattractive?
They pointing out. No.
No? Then why did you rate this fat guy negative 10?
Because... Oh, my God. Just shut the f*** up, you little white...
Okay,
Sharon.
so do you see? So what's fascinating to me, so many things you see in this. The guy is just cool, calm, and collected. The women are like, there's young girls already. You can see the programming starts young, and they're kind of like unhinged, cursing, defensive, whatever. You know how we talk about all the time, you can criticize men in modern day society, but you can't criticize women?
That doesn't work in that case. But if I say, you know what, I don't want to, go whaling for Moby Dick. I don't want to have to bring a harpoon along with me whenever I'm trying to date a girl. Then I'm considered a fat shamer. I'm considered a hater. Body positivity. It's so funny that is not okay for a man's attraction, for a man's preferences. As I said, women naturally gravitate towards a man who is strong, who is capable of defending them, who is capable of providing for them, who is capable of giving her and her family safety, who's capable of protecting the children that she might have. It's a biological trigger. It's ingrained in her, down into her DNA. But for men, we are biologically attracted to a woman who seems to be the healthiest possible, who seems to be the most likely to bear for us healthy children and pass on our DNA and be good wives for us, right? That's what we are biologically attracted to. And let's be honest, we are not biologically attracted to a woman who is likely going to die of a heart attack at age 50 because she weighs 700 pounds. But we're shamed for our biological triggers, while women are praised for it. Women are saying, oh, queen, you should have your standards. You shouldn't settle. But men, body positivity, you shouldn't fat shame. It's wild. I don't think a woman will be very, useful for carrying on my DNA, for producing children for me if she's unhealthy. That's my biological trigger. But yet it's totally okay for a woman to want a man who is strong, who's tall, who's competent. That's her biological trigger because she wants a man who's able to protect her, to provide for her and her children. She can have her biological trigger. She can have her biological preferences, her innate instinctual preferences, but I can't. It's crap. Resist the slave mind. So, one of the other things that you'll hear that's constant, that's very, very common, one of the phrases that you'll hear in Womanese, or groups of phrases that you'll hear together very commonly is, you are toxic, you are controlling, you're a narcissist, small dick energy, or a real man would do XYZ. Translation: when a woman says this to you, which she really means, in English, not Womanese, but in English, what she really means is, I can demand whatever I want from a man, but that man is not allowed to have any standards or parameters regarding my behavior. Listen, whenever you hear a woman calling a man toxic or controlling or a narcissist or that he has small dick energy or say, you know what, a real man would do this, and it's usually the opposite of what this man is doing in the moment, generally it's because a man has some sort of standard or setting some sort of boundary for this woman and she doesn't want to comply. She doesn't want to be held accountable to a man's standards. For example, if a woman is confronted that she's dressing promiscuously, that she has her titties out, you can almost see her vagina because her skirt is so short, and she's going out in the club, going out in public with her friends, without her man, dressed like this, And her man feels uncomfortable with that because that's disrespectful to him. Because if she truly loves him, she won't be advertising herself as on the market for other men. If that man says anything about that, how many times do you often hear a woman saying, oh, you're just insecure. You're just a narcissist. You're just controlling. You have small dick energy. A real man would be secure enough to let me go out looking like this. You just don't want me to be cute. Don't date a bad bitch if you don't want me to get attention like this. How many times do you see women say that? And it's really because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held to a certain standard. They can have all the standards they want of what they want in a man. He has to make this much money. He has to treat me like this. He has to do all this for me. But the moment a man wants to have these standards, he's wrong. He has small dick energy. Or, for example, when a man says, why don't you ever post a picture of your boyfriend? Why don't you ever post me on your social media? Why are all your pictures on social media, you showing your titties, or you having your butt out, or you trying to look sexy all the time? That almost looks like you are advertising that you are available and out on the market. And it almost is like you don't respect me that much. And then this girl will come back, oh my gosh, you're just insecure. You just have small dick energy. You're just, you can't handle me. You're a narcissist. Listen, if a woman does that to you, she is using sign language. She is trying to shame you. She is trying to insult you. She is trying to guilt you because she has a need to be right. I'm going to say that again. If a woman is doing that to you, if a woman is saying you have small dick energy, if a woman is saying that you're a narcissist, saying that you're toxic, simply because you have a very reasonable standards of respect that you're holding her to, she is using sign language. She is shaming you. She is insulting you. She is trying to guilt you because she has a need to be right. Do not fall for this. Listen, these women do not take them seriously. I personally, as I said before, I think that these women who talk like this, I think that they're more of a headache than they're worth. But, I get it. Sometimes you got to itch to scratch. And if you just want to get the box, do that. That's it, though. These are recreational use only women, if even that. I personally prefer not to even do that with them because they come with a whole lot of problems and they're just annoying to be around. And no amount of pussy is worth my peace. I'm just saying. So, these women here, they're so used to acting like this because they've never been corrected. They're used to being dealt with only by simps, especially if they're an attractive woman, right? You see women all the time never being held to any standard. Most women probably have never been with a guy that has actually said, you know what? I want you to respect me. You're not wearing that when you're out alone. Or I really don't want you posting things like that on social media. Or how about you make your Instagram private and make it very obvious in the profile picture and in your bio that you're with me. Most women have never been told that before because most men are simps. Getting laid for most men is extremely difficult. For the average man, getting laid is very difficult. For the average man, it is a very miserable experience. Like I said on previous podcasts, and I always mention this statistic, on Tinder, they did a study, and they said that the average guy, the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness, that's physical attractiveness, that's socioeconomic status, that's influence, all of that, the bottom 80% of men in those metrics of attractiveness only have a 1 in 115 chance of getting a like on Tinder on any given day by any female. And generally the only females that would even give them a chance are the bottom 22% of females in terms of attractiveness. The overweight, not very attractive, bottom of the barrel females are the only ones that would even give the vast majority of men a chance, even though 100% of women at all levels of attractiveness want the top 20 to 10% of guys in terms of attractiveness, physique, socioeconomic status. Guys, listen, because the average guy out here, it is so difficult for him to get laid because the average guy has such a hard time getting and maintaining female attention. Most guys never tell a woman no. Most guys never hold a woman to any form of standard because they're just happy that they can even get a chance to get a whiff of pussy. They're just happy that they can even get the opportunity to be around a woman. So they're not going to tell her anything. They're not going to do anything that's possibly going to upset her or make her unhappy because they're just happy that she's there and want her to stay around. That is simping. And unfortunately, these simps, and if if I'm talking to you, if you're a simp and you know who you are, I'm telling you, you can do better. You should do better. Resist the simp mind, continue watching my channel, and I will show you how you don't have to simp and how you can just become a better man. But anyway, most women are used to dealing with simps, and most men are simps, so these women have never really been held accountable at all. They've never been held accountable. So that's why they think that they should just be allowed to do whatever they want. So they're absolutely just taken aback whenever they have a man that's actually holding some kind of frame in the relationship, that has some kind of standard, that's saying, you know what, I'm a man of value. I'm a man who has worked my butt off to be physically in shape, to be physically attractive, to build myself, status, wealth, finances, influence, to be the kind of man, the small percentage of man that all women want. I worked my butt off to be that. So now, because I've worked for it, I have a whole lot of options without simping, meaning I don't have to put up with your bad behavior. Guys, that's the kind of man that I want you to be. And when women get around that, they're taken aback. They call this man, oh, you're toxic. You're a narcissist. Oh my gosh, you have small dick energy. And what's funny is women don't even like simps, but yet they're calling a man who's not a simp a guy with small dick energy. So are you implying that if you're a simp, you have a big dick? If you're a simp, if you let a woman walk all over you, if you are desperate for a woman, if you just kiss the ground that a woman treads on and allow her to make you into her doormat, you therefore have a big penis? It's clown world. Absolute clown world. So, when women are acting like that, when they're coming at you with that sign language, it's generally due to a lack of their personal accountability. They don't want to actually change. They don't actually want to be held accountable for anything, and they're shocked. They're shocked that you are actually doing something different. They may seem angry, they may seem bitter, they may be very disrespectful and very rude, but I promise you, you're still always going to win in the long run by not being a simp. Women are inherently attracted to men that seem dominant, men that seem confident, men that seem strong, men that seem like they have many options. In one of the episodes that I made before about not simping, I talked about different research studies that showed what women actually want. I'll pull some of these up on the screen as I'm talking so you can see. Women want these characteristics of men. All of these characteristics are confluent with a dominant alpha male and not a simp. So by you being a simp, you're actually turning a woman off and she's not actually respecting you. She may stick around with you for a little bit, but the entire time she's looking for a more masculine, more dominant option, which is why she still has herself out on social media. She still has her titties out trying to look sexy. She doesn't want to show that she's in a relationship because she doesn't get as much attention. She still wants to go to the club dressed promiscuously with her friends because she's still looking for a more dominant man. And if you're a simp in her life, you're literally just a placeholder boyfriend to meet her emotional needs until she finds something better. Don't be that guy. So, when you are standing on your frame though, she'll act like she's angry, but she's actually very attracted to that. She's just not used to being told to comply with a certain standard. She's not used to having any parameters or structures set up for her, but it is actually attractive to her. Her initial reaction is one of confusion, is one of possible anger, but she's always going to, in the back of her mind, after she leaves the situation, after she goes away and calms down, she's going to, in the back of her head, be like, man, that's kind of sexy that he was actually able to tell me no. I'm telling you guys, that's the move. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example myself. This one young lady that I was dealing with in the past, very, very beautiful woman. I mean, gorgeous by every metric. And I use a very objective scale. 0 is, a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is fugly, absolutely hideous. A girl who's a 10 is absolute perfection. There's very few of them. Nothing can be better on this woman. She is level to be featured on every magazine and by every modeling agent. 5 is a girl who's average, just plain Jane, bare minimum, just a plain girl. A girl who is basically just in shape, has the regular BMI, has the normal BMI for her height, starts out as a 5. And then, a 7 is a girl who's like beautiful. A 6 is just, she's cute. An 8 is like Instagram model status. And a 9 is like, could be signed with Vogue. I was dealing with a young lady who was arguably an 8, a solid 8 to 9. Perfect body, triple D's, big butt, short, petite, small waist, everything. Absolutely gorgeous. And she was very much used to getting attention from men. And I personally feel like if I'm going to be dealing with a woman, in any kind of romantic or sexual entanglement, in any kind of way, in any kind of involvement, if I'm going to be dealing with a woman in that aspect, then I, as a man, have a certain level of financial responsibility over that woman. So, I mean, if I'm dealing with the woman, then I will gladly, make sure that she has what she needs financially. I will make sure that she's taken care of. I will do my best to keep her happy. If she wants anything, it's hers. But I do expect for her to be sexually exclusive to me. Even if I am exploring other options, I'm going to be completely honest with her of where she stands with me, but I expect her to be completely exclusive to me. Completely. No exceptions. She's not even advertising herself as open to other people. So this girl is used to constantly getting attention from other men. And she knows that she's landed a guy who is a high value man. She's landed a guy who is able to, give her good experiences, who's able to help her out financially, who's able to give her the nicer things in life, to give her the things that she wants, who is able to love her effectively, meet her physical needs, a guy who's decently attractive, who stays in shape, a guy that is, not easy to find everywhere. But, one of the times I was spending some time with this young lady, I was actually in the process of paying her phone bill. She handed me her phone and was saying that her, she's struggling paying her phone bill. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go into your account, put my card under your account, so that it just automatically charges my card every month and you don't have to worry about it. So I had her phone in my hand and was on her account page, and they sent a confirmation text to her phone, and I needed to input the confirmation code that was in that text back into the account page to let the transaction go through to add her account under my card. So as I was trying to retrieve this text, I saw that there was text from another dude, and this guy was like some overweight, dusty, unattractive dude, an inferior man by every metric. And he was just simping so hard. Oh my gosh, the sun revolves around you, queen. You're so beautiful. You're so gorgeous. And mind you, guess you should tell a woman that you appreciate that she's beautiful and what she means to you. This guy was just being too much. He was willing to do anything. And she understood that this guy was just an absolute simp. And so she would exploit this guy for money. And I looked at the text. She was saying, oh, well, thanks, love. Can I have $20? Oh, thanks, love. Can I have $40? And he was saying, oh, well, here you go. Do you need anything else? Can I come see you? Oh, and she'd say, oh, I'm busy right now. Can I have some more money? I 100% don't think that she actually screwed this guy. But the fact is, she was soliciting and looking for attention from other men. And she knew that I am a man of value, but she is so used to getting attention from other men that it's really hard for her to break that cycle of using that attention and exploiting that attention. So when I stood up, when I saw that, I was like, here's your phone back and I'm out. And she said, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm out. This guy here on your phone, why don't you get him to pay your bills? What are you talking about? This guy right here you're texting. Well, he can't do it. Well, that's not my problem. Why are you texting him? Why are you asking him for stuff? Well, he's just a friend. Well, dudes don't just give you money expecting nothing in return. And she, tried to beg and plead, and I left, out, gone. Didn't say anything at all. She was shocked that I actually was able to hold and stand on that level of frame, on that level of standard, because she's never had to tell her no before. She was speechless. I walked out, didn't think about it. A couple weeks later, she texted me. I'm so sorry. This other guy was an inferior man. I can't date anybody else. I learned my lesson. I understand if you don't trust me, but I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I wronged you. I learned my lesson. And that right there shows that women like a man who's not a simp, and women like a man who has frame. Men, do not simp. Even though Women might call you pejorative terms. They will use their sign language. They'll say you have small dick energy. They'll say you're a narcissist, that you're controlling, that you're toxic. They really don't even know what they want. They don't want a simp. They're unattracted to simps. They want a man that has frame. They want a man who seems masculine. They want a man that's dominant. And they're just freaking out because that's their visceral reaction to having a man finally for once tell them no. But really they want that. So men, resist the simp mind, understand womanese, and know how to navigate. The last womanese phrase that we're going to talk about today is this. You've heard this all the time. It's in popular music. It's all over social media. It's the most common things that chicks say all the time. They say, oh, I'm a boss bitch. I'm independent. I don't need a man.
Stop the cap.
Translation for this. I have never had a strong, assertive male figure around in my life to support and lead me, and I've only made terrible choices in men, so I've had to become strong to survive out of necessity, and now I think that my narrow experiences of men in the past define the broader scope of reality. Let's break this down. Women who call themselves a boss bee say that, oh, I'm independent. I don't need a man. These women say this because they probably did not have a daddy at some point in their life. And they don't know how to choose good men. I've said this before. Dads keep sons out of jail and daughters off for stripper poles. A dad is supposed to be the first, experience of a man who loves a woman unconditionally, wanting nothing in return in a girl's life. Right? For the most part, every man wants a woman's attention, wants to do things for a woman, wants to love a woman, and an expectation for something in return. Come on, dudes. We know how we think. But in general, a dad is supposed to be the first man in a woman's life who shows her what it is really like to be loved, to be respected, to be cherished unconditionally, and want nothing in return. When a girl does not have this, her mindset of how to get a man to love you and what it's like to be loved by a man is totally shaped by her experiences. And her experiences have shown her that men seem to want sexual access, sexual favors, and sexuality out of a woman. And that is how you get loved. And so women, oftentimes turn to promiscuity, turn to being a hoe, not just because they, inherently love sex. Sometimes that's the case, but oftentimes it's because they never had a dad to show them that that's not how you get loved. And the only experience of love that they've experienced was a man wanting them for their body. So their cry of, hey, man, please love me. Somebody please love me. The way that they try to get that is by being a hoe. So they go out, they meet men who they think love them because they want them sexually, and they just go to them, right? And they're used as cum rags. By men, left and right, boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh, I'm going to portray myself as a hoe because maybe he'll love me. I'm going to portray myself as easy and sexually accessible because maybe this guy will love me. And a guy comes up, hey, wow, this is easy. I'm going to say what I need to say, sell her the dream, get my nut in, bounce. And this happens over and over and over again. And now this woman's self-esteem is terrible. She feels terrible about herself. She feels like she is actually the cum rag that men have used her as, right? It's really sad, actually. She feels like she's worthless. She feels like I am nothing but a cum rag because that's all men have ever used me for. And even though I want a high-value man, because all women want a guy who is dominant, who is able to provide for them, protect them, financially superior, commands respect from his peers and others. Like, these are biological attraction triggers in women. But because these women have such low self-esteem, they feel like they cannot get that. They feel like they don't deserve that. So what they do is they'll go and they'll settle for absolute bums that are in and out of jail, that have nothing, that are deadbeats, that are complete losers, just walking red flags. They'll settle for these dudes. They'll make babies with them, expecting these guys to stick around. And of course they don't, because they're losers. They're bums. They're absolute trash. And they leave. So now these women are stuck being single moms all on their own in the struggle, having to take care of these kids by multiple men who are all deadbeats. They all hate their baby daddies. And because of the pain, because of the struggle, they have had to find a way to be independent. They've had to find ways to make it on their own because they've never had a man that's actually been strong and assertive and ready to love them, to provide for them, to lead them, to set a framework for them, to protect them, to provide for them. They've never had that in their life. And so they have to become independent. And then they find their identity in being, oh, I'm independent. I'm a boss bitch. I'm a queen. And they end up thinking that that is the way that men want them to be. Because they listen to, songs by Neo that say, Miss Independent, that's why I love her. Or all the single ladies. Or, I can do bad all by myself. Like all these songs in the media and social media are all portraying this ideology. And it's really an ideology of brokenness. So when a woman says, I'm a boss bitch, I am an independent, I don't need a man, I'm a queen, really, this woman is saying, I've never had a strong, assertive male figure around to support me, lead me, and I've only made terrible choices in men. And so I think that this is the way that I'm supposed to be, and I've lived a promiscuous lifestyle.
She belongs to the streets.
Because this is the only way that I know to get love. Listen, no woman actually wants to struggle. No woman actually wants to, have to pull it out of the mud herself. No woman actually wants that. Women don't actually want to struggle. Women don't actually want, to have to work super hard. And that's okay because they are biologically wired to want a man who is strong and dominant and a leader and a protector and a provider so that they can be naturally feminine, nurturing, taking care of their family, taking care of their man, taking care of their kids. That's where women want to be. And that is when women are the happiest. They say things like, I'm independent, I don't need a man, but they actually, they want a man because they don't want to struggle. They don't want to have to do it all by themselves. And this is proven in the fact that these same women that says, I'm a boss, I'm independent, I'm a queen, I don't need a man, when you ask them, what kind of man do they want? They will always say, oh, well, I want a man this tall, that's this tall, that makes this much money, that is this competent, that is this confident, that is this strong, that is this ambitious. They never say, oh, you know what? I want a guy that I can go 50-50 with. I want a guy that, makes as much money as me, or a guy that I can take care of. They never say that they want that. Usually the women that say, I'm a boss, I'm independent, I don't need a man, are usually the ones that are saying, oh, men ain't ish, men are dusty, I don't mess with no broke niggas. These are usually the women that say that. They, by their own actions, prove they don't actually want to be independent. They don't actually want to be a boss. They don't actually want to struggle because they still want men that are competent, that make more money than them. I pulled up that study before. I'll pull it up again right now. Women in generally are attracted to men that make at least 50% more than them. It's just biologically hardwired into them, no matter how much money a woman makes. So whenever a woman says something womanese, like I'm a boss, I'm independent, I don't need a man, you can say,
stop the cap.
Because it's not true. It's womanese. So guys, I hope I added some value to you. I hope I taught you guys a lesson on what women actually mean when they speak womanese and when they say certain things that you hear commonly. Guys, I'm doing all of this to help make you guys better men, to navigate the sexual and dating marketplace so that you can have the life that you want, get the women that you want, and have the happiness that you want. That's what the MDmedic Podcast is all about. Making you guys ripped, rich, fit, competent, and alphas so that you can be dominant in every single sphere that you guys are part of. This is what we're about here. I want you guys to be the best you can possibly be. Go ahead and give us a follow, like, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Go forth and conquer, my friends. MDmedic Podcast out.